Hi there, my name is Heather Ford. I am an associate professor at UTS, and I am joined in spirit by my co-author on this project, Dr. Michael David Davis, also from UTS. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the early results of our project, the implications of generative AI for knowledge integrity on Wikimedia. The two core goals of the project were to explore the implications of generative AI for knowledge integrity, and secondly, to investigate the extent to which current rules, practices, and policies are sufficient to maximize the benefits of generative AI as well as address any risks. As we proceeded with the project, we really recognized that actually this case is incredibly useful to understand how Wikipedians and Wikimedians recognize as the features that constitute knowledge integrity in our information environment. This is a term that is on the rise, and it actually ended up being a really great way of understanding what that means according to those who practice the work of building the encyclopedia and its sister projects. The research project was very generously funded by the Wikimedia Research Fund in 2023-24, and you can find out more about the status of the project on Meta. So first of all, we chose to focus on knowledge integrity specifically rather than any general effects of generative AI. And the reason why we did that was because we were interested not only in the effects on quality and accuracy of information resources that Wikipedia produces, but also on the process of developing knowledge that Wikipedia has really become quite famous for, and that it is those processes that really enable the kind of information that people are really proud of when they work on the encyclopedia. The important thing here is to note is that there's actually very little definitional work that's been done on what constitutes knowledge integrity, even though the term is being used a lot by the UN, by the Wikimedia Foundation and Wikimedians themselves. But there's actually a lot missing in how we conceptualize what that means. And this is a lot of the work that we have been doing, which we won't present here. The two research questions that we do want to talk about here are, does the potential use of generative AI threaten knowledge integrity on Wikipedia? If so, how? And the second, what steps could be taken to address any risks to knowledge integrity? So in terms of our methods, we first looked to Wikimedia and the places where generative AI and its impacts were being discussed. When just after ChatGPT was publicly released, but we also supplemented this with interviews with Wikimedians from a larger culturally and linguistically diverse group, mostly at Wikimania Singapore, and also using online methods. Interviews, I should say. The results are as follows. So when we talk to Wikipedians and Wikimedians about what the potential effects of generative AI are, we didn't ask specifically about knowledge integrity. We asked questions about effects more generally in interviews, but we came at the following kinds of the following themes, many of which are well known. So issues around reliability, trustworthy accuracy, which really fall into the predominant way of defining what knowledge integrity is. All the others, though, issues of equality, exploitation, sustainability, and verifiability have to do with the process of building a knowledge resource, and a knowledge resource that is for the public, and that the public have rights in being able to verify, for example, information. So a lot of these were actually processual themes that didn't necessarily only have to do with how generative AI would affect the accuracy of claims, but had to do with these other issues that are really essential to the information environment, according to Wikimedians. In terms of steps, so, things were very fast moving when we started the project. There was an attempt to develop a policy, a specific LLM policy, which failed to reach consensus. Other people talked to us about the potential for technical measures for detecting and marking synthetic content, the use of AI plugins. We have examples of those. And then others who talked about education and the fact that editors needed to learn how to use tools effectively, and this was the most efficient way of responding to the threats of generative AI. There was, though, this, niggling problem of responsibility and scope, recognizing that given so many of the features of these effects actually extended beyond Wikipedia and even Wikimedia, that they couldn't be addressed really only from Wikimedia. In conclusion, this project really demonstrates how generative AI tools are affecting the ways in which the Wikimedia community produces knowledge, not only the products themselves. Thank you.